Hey man, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome. Welcome back. Welcome back to the channel, man. I'm your boy X. This is Jetline. If you know what I'm saying, I'm finna get into another aviation vid. This video, I seen this video on my feed, and it kind of like spoke to me. You ever get something that speaks to you? This spoke to me. The main reason why it spoke to me is because, bruh, as you can see, you see my skin color, bro. It is what it is. So, you know, my family and planes, they don't really mix like that, so like a lot of times. And so a lot of times to get through a flight, bruh, people love to like take medications and different melatonin, stuff like that. They like to do so much to like just go to sleep on the plane, so they don't even gotta think about being on the plane for real. Me, bro, I'm completely different, bro. I'm not taking no medication. I'm not trying to go to sleep on the plane for real. Like if I'm going to sleep on the plane, it's because, bro, that flight is like 8 hours, 10 hours. You feel me? Other than that, bro, the main thing I like having is a window seat that's like not on the wing for real. Like I love to like look out. I love to see the takeoff. I love the landing. I love like the little bumpiness of like the turbulence and stuff like that. I love flying through like different mountains. I remember I flew to San Diego, and when you fly to San Diego, like you gotta pass through, like, at least coming from Texas. When you come from Texas, you gotta pass through like these mountains, bro. It's like amazing to me, bro. Like it's one of the main reasons why I want to become a pilot for real, because like I just want to see those views just like by myself for real. And I've kind of seen it like on flight sim, but you know, flight sim ain't nothing like real life. You know what I'm saying? So these are like, I guess this captain, he's debunking like different fears that, you know, people have when flying. A lot of these fears, like my family, and I know probably some of your family members, they all like think about like this kind of stuff. So this is like a really good video to like, you know, actually debunk. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to actually be scared when you go on the plane, bro. Don't be scared, bro. Like I ain't gonna lie, if the plane going down, bro, like this is real, bro. Well, if the plane go down, bro, ain't nothing saving you, bro. It was just your time to go that day, bro. Rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? Like I hate to say it like that, but like, bro, we got to be real with ourselves, bro. Like, but the thing is, like, there's so many different things in place to where it's like that day, like that, it's so rare that ever happens for real. Like, if we being honest, like, you more liable to get in a car crash. I think they said you're more likely to get struck by lightning. But yet, we always just, you know, scared. So let's lock in.
Under extreme stress, what
Get
happens
right to
if a
it.
plane is hit by lightning? Can the plane land on water?
Speaking of the
We'll
devil.
find out in today's video. Hi everyone, I'm Mark. I'm an Airbus captain for a commercial airline, and you're watching Pilot Explains. And today we're going to go through the most common fears of flying and why you can feel safe on any airliner today.
Here it is.
The wings moving, completely normal thing. They're designed to do that. When an airline is designed, they design the wings.
I ain't
to
never
have
heard of that.
a
Wing flex?
degree of
Like,
movement.
I know the
in them,
wings move, but like people are scared of that.
especially for when you're in turbulence. You don't want them rigid. It would stress the aircraft. When you design an airliner, you design the wings to take a maximum amount of load, and then they'll build a jig and put the airliner in it, and they'll bend the wings up until they snap. The current Boeing 777 went 150% past its design limit load. Something that would never happen in flight. So you're quite safe. The wings are not going to go anywhere. The new composite wings on the 787, they actually went up 7.8 meters. When you watch them on takeoff, you'll see the wings lift up as the lift generated off the wing. Quite safe. They're not going to fall off. There's many types.
People think the wings are gonna fall off. Oh man, I gotta hear this. Hold on.
To turbulence. The one that most people are scared of is clear air turbulence. We're flying along on a nice clear day up at height, and all of a sudden the plane starts shaking and bumping around. You're quite safe. The aircraft is not going to fall out of the sky. It's
Thank you.
To take it. There's a variety of reasons.
Thank you.
In the wind. There's great big tunnels of fast-moving air called jet streams. As you come in and out of those, you get bumps. If you're sitting in it, you can be sitting there with 200-mile wind behind you, and it's smooth as silk. But when you leave that, it gets a bit rough. When you're coming into land on a really windy day, especially at Manchester, if the wind's from the north, it's coming over the terminal, it's being churned up by all the stuff that's on the ground. That's called mechanical turbulence. It's not very pleasant, but it's not dangerous. We train regularly in simulators in bumpy conditions.
Plane landed.
And if we're up at height, we have charts that show us where this turbulence will be. We know when we're coming towards it, so we can mitigate things by slowing the aircraft down slightly. It has a special speed to go through bumpy air. We'll know ahead where it's coming because we'll hear people on the radio talking to air traffic control asking, is it bumpy ahead? I'm getting bumps here. I'm at this height. It's bumpy here. So we can descend, or we
people
can
actually be talking to each other in
get
there.
Out of it. So it's quite safe. It just feels a bit uncomfortable, really. Some days we're flying around and we know there's thunderstorms around. On our flight plans, they show on the chart where these storms are, so we know when to expect them. We have
what's this one?
That we can
Stormy
look at
weather?
before we
I ain't gonna
leave,
lie.
and we can see where they are. When we
If anything, like, this is like one of the things I wouldn't say I'm scared of, but like, I know I'm gonna have to do it. Like, I'm gonna have to, at a certain point, I'm probably gonna have to fly through some stormy weather. Just me wanting to be a pilot, right? So just being aware of that, like, I wouldn't say I'm scared of like storms and stuff, but like, I did used to have like PTSD, bro. I remember I swerved off the road in a storm because I guess I like hydroplaned. I really almost lost my life. It was actually kind of crazy. Mind you, I was like on the way back from church. I had gospel music playing, but it was crazy, bro. But I ain't gonna lie, flying through like a storm is like, that's different. But I feel like you can get through it though.
the aircraft, we have a very, very good weather radar system. And it uses a Doppler radar. It sends out a radar from the nose of the aircraft, and it picks up large water droplets that you get in the cloud, and it bounces back and it paints it on our screen. It comes in different grades. Green is just wet, yellow is getting a little bit nasty, and red, you really want to avoid red.
Huh? I ain't gonna lie, I'll fly through a storm. If I see red, I remember from that first video that I posted. If you see red or purple, don't do it.
So we can see these storms up ahead, even at night, on our screen. So we know we can turn around and we can go around them. And we negotiate with air traffic.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, bro. Mind you, like, bro, my dream aircraft is that SF-50. And mind you, I know it has like a little storm stuff on there too. Oh yeah, if I see a storm, you feel me? You know what I'm saying?
We want to turn left by X amount of degrees and avoid this weather. You've got to clear them at height by at least 20 miles. You've got to be over them by at least 5,000 feet. And you stay well away from them. Occasionally, aircraft will get hit by lightning. Most of the time, you don't even know it's happened. Sometimes you'll land and you'll walk around the aircraft on your inspection and you might find a little burn hole. The engineers will come and inspect the aircraft and it's back in the air very, very quickly. Sometimes you get a bit more burning, but the aircraft is fully shielded against it and the systems aren't affected. All you're going to hear is a little crackle on the radio every time there's a bolt of lightning near you. So we're making an approach to an airport. There's thunderstorms all in the area. We know about them. To mitigate this problem, we carry extra fuel. We can sit there and circle in a holding pattern, we can sit there for a significant amount of time and wait for the storms to blow through. If they're too bad, we can go around them, and if they're just not moving, we always have at least one diversion airport that we can divert to that will have good weather and we can get in without any problem whatsoever. If it's a stormy day, we sometimes have 2 or more airports that we can go to where the weather's perfectly acceptable and we won't have a problem landing.
See, that's
Your
perfect,
father
bro.
knows.
Man, yo, I gotta get premium, man. I got to get premium.
About saving money. Everything I'm wearing, I've had since.
Nah, but that's cool though.
And I just saved them.
That's cool though when it come to storm stuff for real. It's good that they have like a lot of things in place for real. I ain't gonna lie. If I'm on the plane, bro, pilot ill, or become ill, bro, I wouldn't even let nobody know, bro. If I'm being honest. You shouldn't even let nobody know. The co-pilot should just take over, bro, and lock in.
Some of
You
you
gonna
guys
cause
might
a
be
panic.
worried. What happens if
Maybe
one
that's
of the
just me.
pilots becomes ill? Well, there's always at least 2 of us in the flight deck.
That's what I'm saying,
If one of
bro.
the guys becomes ill, then we'll get the cabin crew in, we'll give them some oxygen if need be, assess their situation. They may recover fine, they may be able to continue with the flight, or they may become what we call incapacitated. So they take no further part in that flight. The cabin crew may give them some oxygen to see if we can bring them round, but if they really can't fly anymore, it's not a big deal. One of us can land the aircraft, and also the aircraft can land itself. In the extremely rare scenario that both of us are taken unwell, some airlines train their cabin crew how to use the radios. They can call for help, they can be talked down by trained people and set the aircraft up for an automatic landing where it will land, it will stop itself on the runway, and everything will be fine. Again, it's nothing to worry about. It's the same procedure if we have an unwell pilot to an unwell passenger. If they're really not very well, we will divert
I don't
to the
feel like this is
nearest
a big
airport.
deal for real.
If you're flying around Europe, there's airports everywhere. Very, very easy to get in, very, very easy to get back out, and we try and pick one where we know there's good hospitals. What happens if we hit a bird?
Nah, I did just watch that movie Sully, bro. So I don't know what he finna say, but I seen Sully. That was real. Them bird strikes, bro. If you ain't seen the movie Sully, bro, I'm finna spoil it for you right now. So just go ahead and click off if I'm finna spoil it. But mind you, it was a good movie. Basically, plane takeoff. They flying, I think they're like 2,000 some feet. And they run into some birds. Both of their engines go out, right? And so they try to turn around and get back to the airport. The pilot, Sully, he realizes that, like, bro, I'm not going to make it for real. And so, like, he lands in the river. Now, they tried to take his license and stuff away because, like, he endangered everybody on board. Mind you, nobody died. He landed in the river, ain't nobody died. Everybody survived. Bro, come to find out, bro, like, they did, like, a whole investigation, did simulators and all that kind of stuff, and then they realized, like, bro, that plane was not going to make it back to the airport. So, really good movie, bro. Y'all should go see it. Like, I forgot what it's on, but go watch it, bro.
Good. Well, again, it's generally a non-event. Depends where it hits on the aircraft. I've had them bounce off the nose before, I've heard them hit the wings. Normally a quick inspection by an engineer once we're on the ground and the aircraft's good to go. If it goes through the engine, again, it's normally a non-event.
I heard if like 1 or 2 of them go through, it doesn't really do nothing. But like when like 15, 20 of them go through, you might be cooked, brother.
If it goes through the centre of the engine, the core, that requires a bit more of an inspection. But if it just goes around the core and through the main blade, again, it's not a problem. If it hits some probes or does
He's
some
saying it's
damage
not no problem like the bird ain't just get shredded.
to some sensors, they'd have to have a bit more of a look at.
Hey man,
But
protect the
generally,
birds, man.
It's not a big problem. I know some people have asked what happens if it hits the windscreen. Well, the windscreens are massively thick, at least 9 layers of glass and heating elements, and they're heated, and they are actually slightly flexible. They've got a little bit of give, so if a bird hits the windscreen has a little bit of give and it bounces off. At worst, it might crack the outer layer. You've still got another 8 layers, quite safe. We have prevention of wildlife around the airports. There's a guy drives around in a car, he has a flare gun that makes a loud bang, it scares the birds off. We put all our lights on as we're coming into land and as we take off, and that scares the birds away. Plus,
birds should have gotten an evolution. They see airports, they should be smart enough to not go over there.
The noise of a great big airliner hurtling down the runway gets them out of the way quite well. So the next one is a fire on board. People are very, very worried about this. The first thing we do,
how does that even happen?
Where the fire is.
Put the vapes down, bro. Put them vapes down, bro. Put all that stuff down, bro. When you on that plane, bro, you need to sit back. In fact, you know what? Remember I said I ain't take no medication on no plane? You need to take some, bro. You feel me? You with that in your hand right now, you get on that plane, pop you 2 Benadryl, and just lay your head, bro. Y'all be the reason why the fire on the airplane, bro.
If it's in the engines, we get an alert in the cockpit. We have fire extinguishers in the engines, and we put the fire out. In the tail, we have a little mini engine called an APU, auxiliary power unit. That supplies electrics and air conditioning when we're on the ground, and it can do it in flight as well. Again, that's got a fire extinguisher, and we can put that out.
I've seen this.
The most likely
in the engines and stuff.
We see on flights, we get the smoke alarm in the toilets going off. Someone's gone in there, had a vape, had a cigarette.
You with that in your hand right now. Pop them 2 Benadryls, bro, when you go on that flight, so you don't bother nobody around here, man. What did it say on the screen, bro? My Lord. Don't nobody listen.
Set the smoke alarm off. We get a load of alarms going off in the flight deck. The cabin crew get a load of alarms, and they go in very, very quickly. And we have procedures, we have fire extinguishers on board to put it out. Even the toilet bins have built-in fire extinguishers. So we identify where the fire's coming from and we put it out. One of the new ones that's come out recently is we have new procedures for lithium battery fires. The same batteries that you have in your phones, your laptops and your iPads. Have procedures for that. If we have one of those fires, we generally divert the aircraft and get the offending battery off the aircraft. In the cockpit, there's 2 main types that we deal with, and again, every 6 months we train for this in the simulator. We can have smoke coming off the air conditioning systems, or we can have electrical smoke. There are procedures for that. We isolate the system and we just switch it off. We have fire extinguishers in the flight deck, and like I said, we train for this regularly. So really, there's nothing to worry about. The cabin crew have special procedures on board as well. They have smoke hoods that supply them with oxygen, they have fireproof gloves, and they have their fire extinguishers. Our cabin crew are incredibly highly trained to deal with these fires, and again, they regularly go for training sessions to deal with these onboard fires. The other thing that may happen is on takeoff or landing, if we have an engine fire, we stop the aircraft, we know which direction the wind's coming, and we position the aircraft so the wind blows the flames away from the aircraft. This came about after an incident in Manchester many years ago on a British Air Tour 737. So we park the aircraft, we shut the engines down, the wind is blowing the flames and the smoke away from the fuselage, and the fire crew, if it's after take or before takeoff, they will be there almost immediately, and if we're landing, they'll already be sitting there waiting for us as soon as we land. They'll follow us down the runway, and they'll be there with their special fire trucks that are designed just for aviation fires. And once we've stopped, the fire crews turn up, they'll be fighting the fire. The cabin crew, their main job is to look after you. They'll be getting you off that aircraft as quickly as they can. There'll be cabin crew on the ground to guide you away from the aircraft, telling you which direction to go, and we'll make sure everyone's off. The captain, unfortunately, is the last one to leave the aircraft, and I have to walk that aircraft and make sure there's no one left.
That's a real one.
Another big concern is what happens if the oxygen supply fails or the cabin depressurizes. Well, every single seat in the cabin has an oxygen mask above it. And as soon as the cabin
think
goes past
they tell you about
14,000
this all the
feet,
time.
these masts will drop down. You get the mast and you give it a pull. And pulling it activates an oxygen generator.
Hey,
It's a
bro, you
little
ain't finna tell me something like they're not gonna tell you when you're on the plane, bro.
chemical oxygen. And you put your mast flight deck, we will have...
Mind you, put your mask on first. That's what they always say. Put yours on first, then you help somebody else.
Oxygen masks on, they're a dedicated supply. We have oxygen tanks for us. And we will be starting what's called an emergency descent. And we will descend the aircraft very quickly. From 35,000 feet, we need to get down to 10,000 feet. In an emergency descent, we can do that in around 4 minutes. So you're not going to run out of oxygen. Around Europe, there's the highest bit of ground we have is Mount Blanc near Geneva. You can be past that in 4 minutes if you're up at height. Another one I get asked is, can the
Spoiler alert. That's what happened on Sully.
aircraft land on water if we have an emergency ditching? Well, it's been proved it can. Sully did it in the Hudson.
Come on, bro. I'm locked in.
If we have an emergency
You just lock
ditching,
in.
well, it's been proved it can. Sully did it in the Hudson with an Airbus. There was one many years ago in Africa with a 767 that had been hijacked and ran out of fuel because the hijackers wouldn't let them land. If we have this scenario where we're looking like we may have to land on water, we've already extinguished every single option. We've run through every checklist, we've tried every diversion, we've tried to get engines going. There's different checklists if you have dual engine failure after takeoff or if you have it at height. We have tried everything before we do that, and I've got to say it's incredibly rare it happens. But as we saw on the Hudson, it is possible and it is completely survivable.
Everybody
Every single
lived.
person walked away. So in conclusion, you are incredibly safe in an aircraft. Your odds of dying in a plane crash is 1 in 11 million. Your odds of dying in a car crash is 1 in 5,000. The most dangerous part of your day will be driving to that airport. Flying is much safer than driving. Right, thanks for watching.
Just like I said, bro. So y'all can stop with all them fears and being scared, bro. Just lock in. If you gotta take them 2 Benadryls, bro, pop them 2 Benadryls, bro. You feel me? I ain't gonna judge you. But that's it, bro. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow on the social medias. I'm gonna be like posting like consistently for real. All right, so be on the lookout for those. Also, comment down below, bruh, if you are a pilot or if you're not, or if you in pilot school, or if you're not, bruh, we can dang near like lock in, bruh. I'm trying to like learn from people. I'm trying to meet new people, bruh. Like this is a whole new space for me for real. So I ain't gonna lie, I can take in. I ain't gonna lie, help me out, please. And plus, I really want to meet new people for real. So appreciate y'all, bruh. Love y'all. Stay safe. Be blessed. And always remember, my friends, Godspeed. Godspeed.